What's up, Chads? Welcome to the video. So, a few months back at the start of the year, maybe March time, I made a video on a project called Void. Now, these guys are a stablecoin rewards token. They're going to be paying people out in DAI token. I think it was like 7% DAI rewards or something like that. So yeah, I did a video, back a few months ago. They were actually aiming to launch, around when we had kind of the relief rally in the market around about March time. But obviously they were one of the later projects to have a launch date, and obviously then with the market crashing after that, these guys decided not to launch the project and decided to wait out a little bit. But now these guys see the markets being a little bit more stable, and these guys are finally actually going to be having their pre-sale in a week's time. So yeah, if you do want to learn about the project in a lot more detail, I do advise to go back and watch my old videos, and I did like 10-15 minute videos going really into detail about the protocol and exactly how it works and stuff like that. So today I want to focus more on the pre-sale. I want to focus more on about the changes that's gone on over the last few months in the project. And these guys have released a couple of new white papers. Now these guys, instead of having like one white paper linked to the website, they've actually gone and released like a series of Medium articles that they call the white paper, which it's a little bit different. I kind of find it a little bit annoying. I'd rather have one document that tells me everything about the project in one place instead of having, I think they've got 6 different Medium articles now where you have to keep, referring from one to the other to find out different information. Yeah, but nevertheless, that's how these guys have done it. So I want to talk about maybe the last 2 white papers they've released, where they've released some more information and some changes in the project, and we'll go over that, and also more information related to the pre-sale, which is going to be next week. So this is the website. So we'll go down. Yeah, like I was saying, these guys are a reflections token. They'll be paying out 7% of every transaction reflected to all the holders in DAI token. Now it says here, still on the website, automatic DAI reflections. I think one of the changes that they've recently made is that these won't be automatic reflections anymore. You will earn the reflections every hour still, but they will be compounded on the decentralized app that you can access here through the website eventually once it's launched. And you'll be able to claim your rewards whenever you want. So you can claim them once a day, you can claim them once a week, you can claim them once an hour, however you want to do it. They say they wanted to make these changes for, obviously, people living in different countries have different tax rules and regulations, and so people might not want to be claiming rewards like every hour or so or something like that. But that was the reason behind that anyway. These guys, not only are they paying out their stablecoin reflections, but they also do have a couple of different features as well. They have staking and lock-in, so you'll be able to stake and lock your tokens up for a certain amount of time. It says here between 1 week and 4 years, and then you will then generate extra rewards on top of that. They have some bonding as well, so you were able to actually buy Void at a discount as soon as the treasury has a certain capital through the bonding. They also have treasuries which are going to be community driven and obviously spread out between the low, medium and high risk investments. Now if you do choose the staking and lock-in feature, you actually be given an NFT for the amount of time, for the duration that your tokens are locked up. But apart from that, I'm not sure if the NFT actually has any other usages apart from that. Yeah, that's the website. I want to go over onto those white papers that I was talking about. Yeah, so this is one that came out in April, I think a little bit after the last video I did on this project. In terms of security, I mean, you can never say that a project's 100% safe, but in terms of putting things in place to give investors trust, Void have definitely gone to good lengths to assure people their project dev is fully doxed, has his face and name out there. They've also done some multiple KYCs. They've got a multi-signature on their treasury wallets, and the people who actually have the signature you can see here. So Void will hold 2 of those. Then they've got Sphere Finance, a very reputable DeFi protocol on the Polygon blockchain, will have one of them. Solar Protocol, another very reputable protocol, will hold another, and the House of Obsidian will also hold another. So this is some really trustworthy guys involved in the multi-sig. The audits they would consider Certic or Solidity. I really hope they choose the latter and go for Solidity Finance, because as you know probably from watching my videos, I'm really not a big fan of Certic whatsoever. I think they're majorly overpriced. They take far too long to do the work, and I think that they don't do a good enough job, and so many different protocols with Certic audits get exploited. So I really do hope that they go with Solidity instead of Certic for their audits. Now, they talk a little bit more about the pre-sale here, which is what I wanted to go over today. So they're looking at raising 1.25 million, which with the current bear market we're in is, it's very ambitious. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the whitelist can fill. Now, these guys, going back to March time when they were originally on about launching, these guys did have some decent hype, and back then in March, I think if they'd have launched, then they would have easily filled the 1.25 million pre-sale. But moving on a few months, we're in a completely different stage in the market now, and DeFi projects are really struggling to fill up these pre-sales, especially the large ones, just because it's just not as much money in DeFi at the moment. A lot of people that were here at the start of the year aren't in crypto anymore, and people are much more cautious of where they're putting the money. They don't want to be risking the money in high-risk DeFi projects. They'd much rather be keeping the money in stable coins at the moment, for example. But yeah, so if they do raise the 1 million, 1 million is going to go straight to initial liquidity. And the initial liquidity is going to be DAI, so the project is going to be, so Void token is going to be paired with DAI. But I did read as well that they will be adding some USD plus liquidity, which I thought was quite good. And they're actually going to be the first provider on the Fantom blockchain for USD plus, which I thought was pretty cool as well. And then the remaining 250,000 is going to be used for the audits, especially if they go with Certic. That's going to cost a lot of money. The KYCs, the partnerships, treasury wallet, and then to pay themselves as well. And yeah, let's go into a little bit more details. So, like I was saying before, the pre-sale is going to be next week. It's going to be Monday the 1st of August at 7 p.m. UTC. Some things to note, here we go, is that the pre-sale price will be 10 cents. And then the launch price will be 15 cents. So you'll actually, by investing in a pre-sale, you will be given 50% extra on your investment for free at the launch price. Now, the method that these guys are going to be using is that in the first 15 minutes, everyone will be able to contribute 500 DAI, which is equivalent to dollars. And then every 15 minutes, you'll be able to then add an extra 500 DAI to that, and it will keep going and going and going up until they reach their goal, or they don't reach the goal, up to a maximum of 4,000. And then I think once the sale's finally over, first come first serve, when the limit is not reached, then they will let all the whitelisted people add some remaining amount, but that remaining amount won't be at the pre-sale rate. It will be at the fixed public rate of 15 cents. It's saying in here that the minimum contribution will be $50, and you need to make sure that you are swapping to DAI to contribute. So yeah, that's some information about the pre-sale. Now, in terms of taxes, I wanted to talk about that as well, because yeah, it looks like you're getting a good deal here. You're buying at 10 cents initially at launch price. You're getting 50% for free because we're launching then at 15 cents. But you do need to take into consideration that these guys do have a vesting tax at the launch. Move on to one of the, might be the older white paper, actually going to talk about that. Yeah, here we go. So it says here we've implemented, this is their kind of, to reduce the pump and dump action. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because I'm still yet to see a project create a anti-dump measure that actually works, because even projects that put like 90% sell tax at the start, people still dump. It just doesn't work in my opinion. But this is kind of a new one that I've seen, so it'll be interesting to see how that one works, if it has an impact or not. So basically the way it works is that at launch price, the sell tax for Void is going to be starting at 17%. So they're going to start with 17% sell tax, but on top of that, they are implementing a vesting period over 7 days. So what actually happens is, on the first day of launch, there will be an additional selling fee of 30%, which means if you want to sell on launch day, you are going to be taxed 47%, which is absolutely huge. So say for, even if you're getting 50% extra tokens, so say for example, you invest $1,000, it means you get $1,500 at launch time. But because of these taxes of pretty much 50%, right? I don't have the brain to work out 47% in my head, but I can do 50%, which means your 1,500, if you sold right there on at launch price, then you would only receive just over $750. So you'd actually lose money selling on launch. So yeah, sometimes these measures like this actually harm projects in terms of it stops people from wanting to contribute to the pre-sales or to buying at launch, because they know that if they want to sell out, they're going to actually lose most of the money from being able to do that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that works. And that 30% will lower 5% every single day until obviously the 7th day, then it'll be a 0, so you'll be just taxed a normal 17%. So yeah, this is something I don't think I've really seen before, and it'd be interesting to definitely see how that works. And yes, this is the most recent article that they brought out, where they've mentioned the changes that they've made, recent changes in the protocol since last time. Since then, they've made a bunch of partnerships with different projects. Like I was saying before, with Overnight Finance, the guys at USD Plus, they want to be the first liquidity provider on the Fantom, so they will have some liquidity, so they'll be paired with DAI and then also be paired with USD Plus, which will be cool, because USD Plus actually rebases, which is beneficial to any project that wants to be paired with them. They've got a partnership with SpookySwap, which is like the biggest DEX in the Fantom blockchain. You know, the partnership with Sphere Finance, which is one of the biggest DeFi protocols, especially on the Polygon blockchain. They're probably the biggest, and probably one of the biggest, you know, in DeFi at the moment. Solo Protocol as well, you know, another big protocol that the Void will benefit from the service and experience. And also with House of Obsidian, these guys are one of the biggest communities over on the Discord. They have big influence, and especially some of the guys, you know, some of the YouTubers that they have working hand in hand with them, definitely help in terms of marketing and stuff like that. So here's some of the different changes that they've made. So they've changed the contract for a diamond contract. I think basically what that means in a nutshell is that there's certain things that they're going to be able to change in the contract rather than having to write a new contract and then migrate over to it. Maybe that means like they're able to change the liquidity provider and stuff like that, just save themselves from having to, like I said, write a new contract and migrate to a second version or a third version like some projects do. What I was saying before, the reflection reward now have to claim manually. This can benefit people from different countries and government tax regulation, like I was saying. They will not have their own NFT marketplace now. They don't think it's necessary. Bonding, you can choose different weeks of vesting, and obviously the longer it is, the more discount you will get. And they made a slight change in the pre-sale in the case that they're not sold out after the first hour. Yeah, like I was saying before, anybody or the whitelisted will then have a chance to increase the amount of contribution that they make, but it will be at the public listed price, not at the pre-sale price of 10 cents. And yeah, so there we go. These guys have got the pre-sale next week. If you guys have been following this project for a while, please drop a comment, let me know what you think of it. I would say that, you know, these guys definitely have struggled to maintain the hype that they had back in March. Nowadays, you know, Discord's a little bit quieter, and they haven't really managed to increase the member count like they did back in March. So it's going to be very interesting for me to watch how they manage to try and fill this pre-sale and go on from there. And yes, thanks for listening, guys. As always, until next time, bye.